So students, here we are doing the case of a body which is dropped. Now we know the formula S is equal to ut plus half gt square, and as this body is falling vertical down, so we can assume it along the y-axis. So this S is replaced with y, the distance traveled, and t is replaced with tau. So tau is a Greek symbol that we use for small quantity of time. So y is equals to half g tau square. Now this distance is half g tau square. So we can, now what will be the distance travel in 2 seconds. So this is the distance travel in 2 seconds. First second, second second. So this distance travel in 2 seconds. So 2 seconds, the distance will be half g and 2 tau square, right? So half g 2 tau square, that will be equals to half g into 4 tau square, isn't it? I can write it as 4 into half g tau square, right? What about the distance traveled in 3 seconds? That will be 3 tau. And that will be equals to half g into 9 tau squares, and that is equals to 9 into half g tau square. So I can assume this half g tau square as y naught. Okay, distance traveled in the first second. So how can I write it as 4y naught? How can I write this as 9y naught? So in the first second, in time tau, so it can be 1 second, it can be even lesser than 1 second. So tau, that's your choice what you are taking as tau. You can take it as 1 second, you can take it as half second, you can take it as millisecond. So I'm taking a general case. You can take tau equals to 1 second, so you can replace it. But I'm taking tau even any time. So in successive time I am finding, like you have taken any particular time. So the distance traveled in the first second is, or means the first second you are taking over first tau. Tau can be 1 second, like I told you, it can be 1 second, it can be half second, it can be 2 second. That's your choice. It can be 1 millisecond also. Okay, so I'm taking a general case. You can take tau as per your choice. So in the first tau, in the first time interval, the distance travel is y naught. In the when the time is 2 tau, how much is the distance traveled? So if you are taking this as y naught, then in time tau it's y naught, you are taking 2 tau 4y naught, 3 tau 9y naught, 4 tau, so here it will be, after 3 it will be 4, so square of 4 will be 16. Now you will be finding the ratios. What is the ratio of the distance traveled in, like first second, second second, third second, fourth second, fifth second, something like this. Now how much is the let me write it, what we have done till now. So the object was falling down. Here I am writing tau. It can be any time. You can take it as 1 second in this question. Then here the total time is 2 tau. Means this much. Let me draw it again. This object is falling. This much time is tau. Is the distance traveled in 2 tau. This will be the distance traveled in 3 tau. So how much is distance? This was equals to half g tau square that we have taken as y naught. Okay. Now this distance we have found as 4y naught, and this distance we have found as 9y naught, right? And in 4 tau, the distance will be 16y naught, isn't it? 4 square here. So students, how much is the distance traveled in second? How much is the distance traveled in second? So that will be 4y naught minus y naught. So this only in second it will be 3y naught. How much is the distance traveled only in third second? So that will be 9y naught minus 4y naught. So this comes out to be 5y naught. How much is the distance traveled in the fourth interval? Means if you are taking it that interval as 1 second or whatever you want to take. So then it will be 16 minus 9. So that will be 7y naught. Hope you have understood this thing, students.
Yes, sir.
So in tau, particular time, tau is any particular time you can take. In 1 tau, the distance traveled was half g tau square that you have taken as y naught. In 2 tau, we have calculated as 4y naught. In 3 tau, the distance traveled was 9y naught. In 4 tau, the distance traveled is 16y naught. Can you tell me how much will be the distance traveled in 5y naught?
25y naught.
Absolutely, 25y naught. Now, how much is the distance traveled in second, only in the second interval, only in second. So only in second interval it will be 4y naught minus y naught. That will be 3y naught. Distance traveled only in third time interval. Only in third time interval. So how much will be that distance? Only in third time interval. 5y naught. 9y naught minus 4y naught. How much is the distance traveled only in fourth time interval? Means fourth tau you can say, or fourth second if tau is 1 second. 16 minus 9?
7y naught.
How much is the distance traveled in fifth interval?
9y naught.
9y naught, yes. Yes. So your question was, what was your question? Just, you have written down the question. Can you read the question? What was the question? Yes. How much is the distance traveled by the body falling from rest in second, third, and fifth second? So second, third, and fifth. So what will be the ratio? 3y naught is to 5y naught is to 9y naught. So what is this ratio, students? 3 is to 5 is to 9. So that is the answer. Okay. Got this question?
Yes, sir.
So you can see here that these are all perfect squares, and how do we find them? Like 1 square is 1, that is sum of one odd numbers. 2 square is 4, that is 1 plus 3, sum of two odd numbers. 3 square is 9, that is sum of first three odd numbers. 4 square is 16, that is sum of first four odd numbers. 5 square is 25, that is sum of first five odd numbers. So students, that is why how much is the difference means you are actually adding the third odd number to get the square of odd numbers. You are adding the fourth odd number to get the fourth square. You are adding fifth odd number to it. You are adding fifth odd number to the fourth square, right? So that is why we find the differences. So we will find them in odd numbers. So that is why when you will subtract 25 minus 16, 9, 16 minus 9 is 7, and then 9 minus 4 is 5. That's how they are formed, and the difference will be like that. Okay. So you understood that the ratio. So you can take tau as any particular time. It can be 2 seconds also. And then, so tau can be any particular second, means any particular time, any particular interval of time. So in the first interval, it's y naught. In the second interval, it will be 3y naught. In the third interval, it will be 5y naught. In the next interval, it will be 7y naught. And if you find the ratio, so ratio will be 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to 9. So this is the ratio of distances traveled in successive time intervals. Okay, very important concept. Definitely you are going to do it again at some point of time. Okay, now let us do the next question. So where is our next question? So that's the ratio of distance traveled. 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7 is to 9 is to 11. Now let us do next question. A stone is released from an elevator going up with an acceleration alpha. So this elevator is going up with an acceleration alpha. Okay. So now, what will the acceleration when the stone is released? So we have a stone over here, a small stone, and this stone is released. So what is the acceleration of this stone after the release? Yes. What will be the acceleration after it is released? Yes. What will the acceleration? See, whenever an object is in air, right, it is released from the elevator, right? And now the stone is in air. Just after the release, the stone will be here. Okay. It is in air. So tell me, which force is acting on this stone? Gravitational force. And force, any formula is F is equals to ma. And for gravitational force, the acceleration will be g. Yes. So what is the acceleration here at this point of time? Definitely it is downward. Yes, in the direction of the force. G will be in the direction of force. So which option is correct? G minus alpha upwards. See, when the stone is in air, you have thrown it upward, right? How much is the acceleration of this stone? But acceleration depends on force. Okay? Force is equals to mass into acceleration. In case of gravitational force, what is value of A? That is acceleration due to gravity G. So you have, whenever the object is in air, whether you have thrown it upwards, whether the object is at rest, means for a momentarily at rest at the top, we did it yesterday in the last lecture. Still, when the object was at maximum height and its velocity becomes zero before coming down, it was momentarily at rest, but still its acceleration, even the velocity was zero, but acceleration was g. Okay. So whenever the object is in air, whether it is going up, going down, whatever the velocity you have thrown it, but when it is in the air, there is only one force acting on it. Assuming there is no air friction. So there is only one force acting on it, and that is gravitational force. Okay. And the acceleration due to gravitational force is g. Okay. So what is the acceleration of the stone after the release? Yes? बेटा एक्सेलरेशन तो हमेशा जी ही होगा ना. फोर्स उसके ऊपर जब वो when it is in air, whatever, whether the lift is moving, not moving, whatever be the case, okay, it can have an effect on the initial velocity. Okay, lift is moving up. Suppose lift is moving up with acceleration alpha. That's go okay. So lift is moving up with, suppose at that point of time when the stone was thrown down, suppose the initial velocity is 20 meter per second, right? So it has no impact with which velocity the stone was thrown. When it is in air, the acceleration will always and always be g downward. Is this clear? Very simple concept. Why you people are confusing? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, next question. A train travels 40 kilometer with a speed of 30 kilometer per hour. Okay. Its average speed after traveling another 40 kilometers. So another 40 kilometer traveled, and the average speed is 45 kilometer per hour. So what is the speed in the second half of the journey? So what is the speed here? So this is V1 30, V2 you have to find. So remember the formula. When the distances are same, traveling x distance with velocity v1, and then traveling another distance x with velocity v2, what is the formula? Average velocity will be 2v1 v2 divided by
V1 plus V2.
V1 plus V2.
remember? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So tell me the value of v2 with how much velocity the train has traveled, so that its output speed, its average speed comes out to be 45. Tell me what is v2? Yes. So what will be the equation? 45 equals to 2 into v1, that is 30, into v2 divided by v1, that is 30, plus v2. Solve this equation. So what is the answer, students? This is 15 times 3, 15 times 2. Right? Now this side will means 30 plus v2 will be multiplied with 3. What will you get? 90 plus 3v2.
Yes, sir.
Is equals to 4v2. So 4v2 minus 3v2 will be v2. So v2 equals to 90 kilometer per hour.
Yeah.
So why you people are taking so much of time? Okay. So there is another question. Similar kind of question. A car is running between 2 points P and Q. Here we have the question. A car is running between 2 points P and Q. If it travels half of the distance between P and Q with a velocity 40 km per hour and remaining half of the distance with 60 km per hour and return in the same manner, what is the average speed of the car? Yes. Can you
Sir,
tell?
48 kilometers per hour.
So instantly, so if you have traveled, if the time is same, if you are traveling 1 hour with 40 km per hour and 1 hour with 60 km per hour, if the time is same, so then obviously you will be adding 40 plus 60 divided by 2 and your answer will be 50. But now you are spending more time traveling with 40 km per hour because same distance is same. So 40 km per hour it will take more time and 60 km per hour it will take lesser time, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it just common sense also tells you that the answer will be less than 50 because you have traveled more time with 40 kilometer per hour. So the only option which is less than 50 is 48 kilometer per hour. So that is the correct answer. And even you can like calculate this question with the formula also. Yes, like the same formula, 2v1 v2 by v1 plus v2. So 2 into 40 into 60 divided by 40 plus 60. So 40 plus 60 is 100, and this 100 cancels out, and 6 for the 24, 24 to the 48. So 48 kilometer per hour is the answer. Right. Now, yeah, the twist in the question is that this OAB. Okay. So you have traveled from O to A half of the distance with 40. Okay, half of the distance with 60. So the average speed in this part of the journey is 48 kilometer per hour. So obviously, when you are coming back again, same way you are traveling to again, the average will be 48 kilometer per hour. So when the average speed is 40 kilometer, 48 on this side and 48 on this side, so what will be the total average? Yes, of course it is the same. Yes. Got it, students?
Okay, sir.
So the average is 48 kilometer per hour. Now let us do another question. So we have this question. Let us do this question, graph for this. So you have this velocity time graph. So the displacement of the body in 6 seconds. So what will the displacement in 6 seconds, students? You have this graph. So you can calculate the answer. Yes. See
90 meter.
90 meters. So what the velocity time graph, what is the area under the graph tells you? Area under the graph. Distance. Yes. So you can multiply the units of the y-axis and x-axis. So meter per second into time, whose units are seconds. So meter per second into second, you get meters. So meter is the unit of displacement, right? So this area will gives you the displacement. So how much is this area? Half into what is base? 6 seconds. What is height? 15 meter per second. So second cancels out. 2 3 the 6. So how much is the displacement, students?
45 meters. 45
45 meter per second. Can you do it algebraically also? You can also find the displacement algebraically. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So you have the time. You have initial and final velocity also, students, but for both the cases you have to find the acceleration first. So what is the acceleration here? Acceleration is what is the slope of this graph tells you? Slope of this acceleration, right? So acceleration is change in y-axis upon change in x-axis. How much is the change in y-axis? Here the coordinates are 0, 15, right? And here the coordinates are at this point 6, 0, 6, 0, right? So how much is the change in velocity? Final velocity minus initial velocity. That is the change in velocity. So how much is it? 0 minus 15, v2 minus v1 divided by t2 minus t1. So 6 minus 0. So 1 is increasing, time is increasing, but velocity is decreasing. So it means the slope will be negative, right?
Yes, sir.
So how much will be the slope? How much is the acceleration? The body is definitely slowing down. So deceleration is there because the velocity decreases from 15 to 0, right? You have applied the brakes. So how much is the acceleration? Minus, so this is 15 upon 6.
2.5.
Yes, 2 minus 2.5 meter per second square. So that is the acceleration. Now you know the acceleration, you can find S, right? So you can find it with any of the two formulas. V square minus U square is equals to, that is also okay. So V square minus U square is equals to 2AS. So find the S using this formula. So final velocity is 0, right? And what is U square? U is initial velocity is 15. So minus 15 square is equals to 2 into, what is A? Minus 2
-2.
into S. So minus 2.5 is actually your 15. Negative, negative cancel out. So multiplying both sides with 1. So negative will not be there. So 2.5 into 2 is 5. So 15 into 15 divided by 5. So one of the 15 will cancel out. So you'll get 3. So the answer will be 15 into 3. And 15 into 3, S is again 45 meters. So whether you find it algebraically or you find it graphically, you will get the same answer. Okay, students?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Just note it down. You can make your notes by watching the videos also. If anything you are not able to understand, just you have the choice of watching the video again. Very important concepts. And students, see, more you practice, more you will do these questions again and again, you know, more confident you will be and you'll be able to understand. So we have a lot of questions. Actually, I have a lot of questions for you. Let us do a simple question. This is very simple question. A stone is tied with a string and you have uniform circular motion. You have a stone over here. It is tied with the string. This is your string. And it is uniform circular motion. And this is the direction of the motion anti-clockwise. So if the string breaks down, the stone moves in which direction? Yes. So it will move.
Option 3.
Option 3. Tangentially. Why radially? Radially means along the radius. If the stone tie down, will it move in this way or will it move in this way? Radially means along the radius, in the line of the radius. So these are all the lines of the radius. So will it move in any of these lines?
No, sir.
So it will move tangentially, right? So that is the direction of motion at this point of time. That is the direction of velocity. So the direction of velocity is tangential, this one, not this one, right? So neither radially inwards nor radially outwards, but it is tangentially. Outwards. Okay? Yes?
Okay. Yes, sir.
So the correct answer is tangentially outwards. Okay, students. So next question, let us do the next question. Okay. See, I discussed with you, like, you have this box. Okay. One boy is applying the force of 30 Newton, and another boy, how much of force this boy is applying, another boy, from this direction, so that the net force acting on this stone, or so this box, will be 50 Newton. How much is this F? So that the net force, this is F1, this is F2. So how much is the F2 so that the net force is 50 Newton? So you have these choices: 40, 30, 35, 45. Yes. I know this is a new question for you. New type. Students, switch off your mic if it is not required. Take care of this thing. So, students, so one force is acting in this direction that you have to find, that is F2, and one force is acting in this direction, that is F1. So F1 is 30 Newton. So students, I told you how to add these two forces, F1 and F2. So F1 and F2, these two are vectors force. So how these vectors are added? So that you get the net resultant as 50 Newton. You cannot add them like 30 Newton is this, sir, F2, F1 is 30 Newton. So F2 is 20 Newton. So the result is, Mohit, switch off your mic. So vectors, see, that's how we add scalars. Like there are two masses and you are adding those two masses. You get 20 plus 30 kg, 50 kg. But we don't add vectors like this. How do we add the vectors? Like vector. These are the directions of the vectors. Make a parallelogram and the diagonal. Okay. That is the direction. And the length of this diagonal is the magnitude of the resultant. So that is your net force, the magnitude of this resultant. So this magnitude is nothing but here there are rectangular components. So this hypotenuse. So this is F1, this is also F1. So hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. So hypotenuse, it is given to you, it is 50. So 50 square is equals to 30 square plus F2 square, isn't it? Yes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that is how we add vectors. So this is parallelogram law of vector addition. Okay, students? Got it? We have done it earlier also. So tell me, how much is F2? So it's 50 square minus 30 square is equals to F2 square, isn't it?
40 Newton.
40 Newton. So 50 plus A square minus B square, A plus B, A minus B. So you'll get F2 square is equals to 80 into 20. So that's 40 into 40. So F2 is equals to 40 Newton. So you are applying 40 Newton. This boy is applying 40 Newton in this direction. This is applying 30 Newton in this direction. So the resultant was not 70, but the resultant was 50. So that's how vectors are added. So vectors you want to add, what will you do? This is 30 Newton, okay. So take one side as 30 Newton and the diagonal is 50 Newton. So take this as 3 centimeter, 30 Newton. Take this as 5 centimeter, 50 Newton. So you will the resultant is 40 Newton. So that's absolutely correct, yes, because remember the Pythagorean triplet. This side is 5, this side is 3, this side is 4. Yes, right angle triangle. So this is
Yes, sir.
if this is a rectangle, then this side will be 3 and this side will be 4 and the diagonal will be 5, isn't it?
5.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So multiply all of them with 10. So Pythagorean triplet is 3, 4, 5. So multiply with 10. So 30, 40, 50 will again be a triplet. So that was the case, students, here. So you are supposed to be sharp enough, like this question was asked in JSTSC 2012. So question was quite simple, but only you can do it if you know the concepts. So if like this is 50, this side is 30, so how much will be this side? Because this is a resultant, you are adding this and this, so this will be 40. Okay, so first option is your correct option. So that's all for this class, students. Okay, thank you so much. See you in the next class. Until then,
Thank you,
keep
sir.
practicing, keep on doing these concepts again and again in one go. It's not that easy to understand the concepts. Okay, keep revising. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir, for teaching.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for
Thank you, sir, for teaching us.
Thank you, sir, for teaching.